It's raining non-stop.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you so much. And again, what an incredible speaker we have tonight for you, all the way from a global call, as we always do, okay? Coming in from Sweden, we're pipelining in. But this beautiful lady has got 4 children and she's a high-performance educator. And one of the key things that I love about you is I read on your pages, like your Instagram, like on your LinkedIn, like on Facebook, I help women change their body. That's great for men like me, okay? 2 eyes to look at, okay? And become high performance and create a lifestyle that they love, or a life that they love. I think that's fantastic, because there's so many people that I see that lose their self-confidence, okay? They lose what they're really about. And I believe, okay, that people like yourself can just give that lifeline, that anchor to, and say, hey, come on, you can be better if you want to be better. I call it the checkup from the neck up. And when I go through your profile and I see what you do for people, I just want to say thank you for what you do for the world, number two. And number two, coming online tonight and sharing your incredible story about high performance, peak performance with athletes. And could you do me a favor and just give me a quick snapshot, a 90-second infomercial about your history, so people online can hear about how you got connected to this incredible company, Zenzino, and what you do in real life. Thank you, Anne.
You're welcome. So thank you, Rob, for having me again. As I said, Serena, before, I love connecting with your Aussies. It's amazing because you have such an energy. So I take it all. So just give me the energy tonight and I'll be so happy. So I'm Danish. I live in Switzerland. As they have already said, I have 4 boys. I am married to an ex-athlete as well. I'm Olympic gold medalist. I'm world champ medalist. So I won it all, but like 22 years ago. So almost forgotten. Today, I'm a health coach. I'm a nutritionist, and I work with a lot of, let's say, high performing, especially women. It can be athletes. It can be in sports in general, but it can also be, of course, in life. So what I do is that I help them with their diets, I help them with mindset, and of course, I also recommend some products that we're going to talk about tonight, which is one of my passions, to talk about these products because they're test-based. And coming from the athletic world, that is what we're all about. What we can test, we know what works.
And look, that's the key thing. I believe that when you saw what the Zenzino products and the test-based nutrition and what we do here, I call it the proof defeats doubt. And you must see that in your high performance performers, okay? And again, I always say, guys, amateurs versus professionals, what's the difference? Amateurs do it for fun, okay? They go out and have a bit of fun. Professionals do it to make money. And that's the difference of what happens in the world. And then they rely on products like this to give them the evidence that they are performing at their highest level. And I'd like to flip it over to you onto an incredible slideshow and take over the show. And I'll be here on standby. Anything you need, I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Rob. So tonight I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And I hope you can see this. Let me know if it's okay. All right, Rob? Good. Perfect. So as we already have talked about, we're going to talk about some products tonight, but what I like to tell them or talk about is actually that these products are test-based. And that's the reason why I'm here today. I was so thrilled when I got contacted 7 years ago, and somebody said that there's a test that we can actually see and prove how your diet is. And I'm like, I want to see that. So I did the test and I was shocked. So I'm going to share with you tonight why I thought this was something that was so groundbreaking that I needed to be part of it. So as a health professional, I'm sure there are many here tonight, we all see every day, all day long, that many people come to us or talk about that they have issues, health issues. And it is it's so hard when it's hard to actually help these people. So what I have found here is that there are possibilities. There are actually things that are easy to do that will make a difference. And just to recap, I'm sure many of you have already seen this, but just very briefly, we used to eat food from Mother Nature that was full of vitamins and minerals and all these micro and phytonutrients, such as beta-glucans and fibers, and especially what we're going to talk about tonight, the healthy fats and this good balance between omega-6 and omega-3. Unfortunately, that has changed not so long ago, but to the very bad scenarios. So today we eat man-made food. We have very low density nutrition-wise. We have them very high in sugar, many empty calories, low in fibers, less healthy fats, and especially this very, very severe imbalance between omega-6 and omega-3. And what does that mean? That actually means that we have some issues, because if we have this lack of key nutrients, we have this imbalance between omega-6 and 3s, most of our cells are out of balance, meaning that we have reduced brain function, we have bad hair and nail and skin quality, reduced heart function, skin loses elasticity, we have our organs that are not functioning either, joint and muscle pain. When we are in balance, though, we will actually have a normal brain function, a normal heart function, and also a normal immune function. So, just a second. What happens and how does this affect your cells? So on the left, you see a cell membrane. Around every cell in your body, you have a membrane. You have trillions of cells, and you can just imagine that every cell has this membrane. So if this membrane is not in balance with the fatty acids, so meaning what we're actually eating, because we talk about omega-6 and omega-3, they're essentials, they only come from what we eat. So this determines if your cells are healthy or not, what you eat. So if you have an unhealthy cell, meaning a cell membrane that is out of balance, you will have a hard and a rigid membrane, meaning that nutrients, they get not in as fast as they're supposed to, and also all the waste products will not come out as fast as they're supposed to. But if you have a cell membrane that is actually in balance, meaning that they have a good balance between omega-6 and omega-3, and a good balance here, what science tells us is that it should be 3:1, meaning that you're supposed to have only 3 times more omega-6 than omega-3. Remember, omega-6s come from almost everything we eat. It comes from vegetable oils, it comes from nuts, it comes from seeds. It also comes from a lot of the meat and dairy we're eating. So if you go to the supermarket and you take any kind of box down from the shelves, you most likely have a lot of omega-6 in there. Omega-3s, on the other hand, come from the sea, either from fish or from algae. We have a little bit in some seeds from, let's say, from what we have grow on Earth, but most of what we have of omega-6 comes from the sea. So if you compare how much you take down from a shell in a supermarket and how much fish or algae you're eating, you probably will agree with me that that's not very balanced. So I think we can agree that we are out of balance. When you have a cell membrane, though, that is in balance, all the nutrients, all the good food, all the money you spend on food that is healthy will actually go into the cell. But you will also get all the waste products easier out. So you will have cells that are alive, they are happy, they will even divide happily. So everything will go right in that body of yours, instead of having something that is not right. So that was when we test, because as we talked about in the beginning, this system that we talk about tonight is actually test-based. So we have done a lot of testings. More than 600,000 tests all over the world is done today. What we see is that so many people are out of balance, meaning that they have cells that are not functioning well. So 95% in Europe, 85%, so 98% in Australia, 99% in America, and then I have to remove this thing here, and 97 globally are not in balance. So when we see that all these people all around the world are not in balance, and it has a huge effect on your heart, on your immune system, on your brain, how can you imagine that that affects the athletes? I tell you that they are as imbalanced as we are. So let's have a look at it. Before we dive into it, I want to address this, because everything I say here is really, really hard to have backed up by science. So many of the things that I'm going to share with you tonight are like studies that some studies have been peer reviewed, some studies have not, but it's also what I have seen working with athletes and what I hear from my team and from Cincino in general. So just so you know, there are not a lot of research done on this. And it's very hard to do research because we have so many different types of omega-3s. If you go to the supermarket and you look at all the shelves or the pharmacies or the doctors even, there are so many different types. So what I talk about tonight is when we are in balance and when we use the product that I'm going to tell you about a little later. So another thing is also that very often, as you can see here, improvements, small improvements in diet can actually not really be measured very well in well-trained individuals. But I want to really emphasize this, that what I see when I work with really, really high-level people is that even tiny percentages will make it break or fail. You know, if you can improve your performance by 1%, trust me, you will win the game. So even though that there is not a lot to, let's say, improve or not a lot to get out of this, you will have so much out of just small improvements, and this will give you small improvements. Also, the International Olympic Committee actually recommends a dosage of about 2 grams per day of these fatty acids, these omega-3s. That can come from fatty fish, or it can actually come from supplements. They don't have a specific amount of DHA and EPA. So how can omega-3 acid help and improve athletic performance? There are 3 key things here: improved performance, reduced risk of illness and injuries, and also enhanced recovery. And it does it in different ways. And I will talk a little bit about it now. First of all, when you have a membrane that is rigid and not moves very easily, and you know that your red blood cells are actually bigger, the diameter are bigger in the capillaries that it has to go into to bring oxygen out to the muscles, you want to have a cell membrane that will move easily, that actually will bend and do whatever it takes to get into these capillaries. So the better your cell membrane is, the more you actually can, or the better you will be able to transport oxygen, which is essential for any athletic performance. Muscle growth. There is evidence that athletes can actually facilitate muscle growth by supplementing with omega-3 during resistance training. Meaning that if they restrict calories, they can actually have, even when they restrict calories, they can actually get help from omega-3s to build muscles. And that is something that is really good, because too many calories can also be bad for us. We talk about, even for athletes, too many calories is not good. So that is something we talk about, is something that we can actually sometimes see in the test results. I'm going to show you a little bit later about this. Reduce inflammation that is induced by intense training. You want to create inflammation when you train, because if not, you're not getting stronger, you're not getting better, you're not getting faster. So the main purpose of hard training is actually to break down muscle tissue so that you can rebuild it, so you can become stronger. But by breaking it down, you create inflammation. If your body is not healthy, if your body is full of the wrong fatty acids or too much sugar, that rebuilding can take longer than if you actually have enough of the good fatty acids, because they will take down inflammation. It is important that athletes can create inflammation, can make inflammation, but it is as important as they can take it down again. So what we call this, and you probably have seen this or known this, or you experienced this also if you're not an athlete, that when you train, if you do a new exercise, or if you haven't done for a week or maybe a month or maybe a year, and you go out and you train, you will be so sore the day after. Any new exercise or anything you do you haven't done for a long time, it will make you sore. That soreness is what we call DOMS. So this is a delayed onset muscle soreness. And that is what we hear back from athletes, that they believe that that is actually what they can reduce. So there's soreness. And if you can reduce the soreness, meaning that the inflammation is not going on for as long as maybe if you're not in balance with your fatty acids, you can train faster, meaning you can recover faster, but you can also train more. So it is something that is not scientifically proven, but it is actually what we hear back. And I can also tell you that is also what I experience. Another thing that is, in my opinion, having been on the top of the world in my sport, mood and emotional state is so important. And for example, now in Denmark, we have had a lot of talks about emotional states in athletes, and there have been a lot of the athletes have actually come forward saying how hard it is. And even here we know that omega-3 fatty acids have a huge impact on your brain, because so much of your brain consists of fatty acids. So, and here omega-3 is really, really important. So if you are an athlete that want to lose weight and you cut down on fats and you're not making sure that you get enough of your omega-3s, you will have a hungry brain, and a hungry brain for fat is not working good. So please, even if you need to lose weight, do not be afraid of omega-3s, because they are so essential to your overall health, your mood, and also your stress levels. Another thing that might not be so well known is that omega-3 plays an important role also in nerve fibers. And that has been demonstrated many times, that your reaction times when you have a good level of omega-3 actually improves, especially when we have complex testing environments. So are you like in most sports, we need fast reaction, right? So even for this, omega-3 could be a really good supplement. The last thing here I want to talk about is the immune function. I have worked with several athletes in cycling, and one of the things where they get really, really often sick is the upper respiratory diseases, especially because if you can imagine, you come out in cold water, you come back in, you go out in rain, you go back in, and then you travel and you go somewhere where it's hot. So all these changes in temperatures really pays a huge toll on their, let's say, ability to adjust to these temperatures. And what we see here is that if they have good levels of omega-3s, and of course many other nutrients, but also the omega-3s here, actually improve or reduce their risk of these upper respiratory infections. And so you can see also decrease inflammation and also improve pulmonary function. So of course that is good for any athlete, right? So when we talk about omega-3, it is not just any omega-3. There are a few things that are so important. You need to take enough. The potency that it has is important, but also they should be pure and free from rancidity, oxidation, but also exactly this, they need to be protected from oxidation when it comes inside of your body, not just in the bottle, not just in the capsule, but also when it comes inside. So when we refine these fish oils, what is interesting here is that we don't want any odor, we don't want any taste from fish. We just want a pure product that we can just take and we will not even know that it has to do with fish. But when we do that, it is quite a tough production. It's quite a tough process to actually take all of this out. And it leaves the fish oil, the omega-3 with nothing to protect it. So when you look for an omega-3 out there, it's so important that you find one that is well protected, that is pure, that has none of the toxins that you actually find very often in fish. If you eat a real fish, they are full of toxins from the sea. So what you have to look for are polyphenols, because they belong together with the omega-3. They belong. They're kind of chaperones for the omega-3s. Nowhere in nature where you find omega-3s are they alone. They are always accompanied by polyphenols on Earth and in the sea, because we get omega-3 from the algae, and then the fish will eat it from the food chain, and then we will have it. But it's not the fish that produces it. It comes from the plants. So when we look at the stability and how fresh and potent these different oils are, we have seen that the balance oil that we're talking about tonight is by far the strongest and the most fresh that you can get. So this is a lab test done in where they have done really, really harsh environment for the omega-3s. And what you see is that many of them will actually oxidate quite early in the process, but the balance oil, being exposed to oxygen, to light, to heat, all of it will go above the 35 hours where it still is potent, it's still not oxidated, meaning that you, and remember this, you produce new cells 24/7. Even when you sleep, I mean, your body is restoring itself all the time. If you don't have omega-3 all the time ready, available for your body to take and put into the cell, you will not produce those cells in the right way. So if you have a cod liver oil, it might only be there for 15 hours. What will you do for the last 9 hours? You won't produce any cells? No, you will produce it all the time. So you need an oil, you need a fish oil that actually will go into those cells 24/7. So this is the potency. And very often you need to take a lot to actually get enough. And we know that very often you need to take 10 to 15 capsules if you have a lower quality fish oil. But with only 3 to 5 capsules of Ascent from Sensino, you will get enough. Or even easier, if you have the liquid balance oil, you get only 2 to 3 tablespoons. And that will be enough to get you into balance. And so I always say, when we want to improve performance, we don't guess, we test. And that is where Sensino Balance Oil is something sent from heaven for us. Because when we talk about athletes and even people all around the world, we want to know if what we are taking is working and what it is that we need to be aware of. Are we wasting our money, or are we actually putting this omega-3 in where it is needed? So what we see when we test is if we have adequate levels of the omega-3, and we need to be above 8%, I'll show you a little later. We also need to check different levels of the different types of omega-3s and 6s, because we have some that are, let's say, more, they help produce inflammation or create inflammation in the body, or they help to reduce inflammation. And when we talk about this, inflammation is such a word, it's such a strange word here, but it is actually what is happening inside of us. You need to get to this desired omega-6-3 ratio as well that we talked about, which is 3:1. But also when we do the testing, and this is what I love about this, it is important that it's not just too much omega-6 and little omega-3, but even if you go too much omega-3 and too little omega-6 is also a problem. Especially also with athletes, we still need to be able to create some kind of inflammation. We need to be able to have this way of getting stronger after any exercise. And if we don't have enough omega-6, that might also be a problem. So when we talk about the balance test, it is based on solid science and analyzed at an independent lab. It's Vitas, Oslo in Norway. You get your personal test results and you can track your progress. It is, for me, at least, what I have found is an essential tool for health professionals when they're talking diets with anyone, not just professional athletes. The test actually reflects your diet for the past 4 months. So we will be able to see if your diet is something that is pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory for your body, for your personal needs. We can also tell if you are wasting your time or wasting your money on the product that you're already taking, if you're taking a supplement, because we can see that. And then I always retest to actually find if what we are taking right now is working or not, or if we have to adjust the amount. Just very shortly, this is a test from a female triathlete. She started out, she took a different omega-3 product, and you can see the circle on the left side. As I said, you need to be above 8 to have optimal levels for your heart. It has to be above 8%. She was 4% with this other product. Her omega-6 balance was 12.5 to 1, way above where she's supposed to be. After having supplemented with the balance oil, you see now her score is very different. She's not all green yet, and it can actually be quite difficult for athletes to become all green. And sometimes I don't even want them to become all green because then they might have had too much omega-3, and then we have other issues going on. So I will tell this to you. You see her levels of omega-3 in the blood is going up 6.8, so it has raised with 2.8%. Her omega-6 level has gone down to 3.3 to 1, meaning in around this where science actually tells us we should be. But if you go low, if you go under here and you go down on the panel of fatty acid measured, you see the rectangle that I did here. Those are her deviation from, that's the test group, to what she has, her levels. And those, the last 3 ones are omega-3s. And you see how much more omega-3 she actually got. And knowing that our omega-3, the balance oil, has a composition of 2 to 1, meaning it has the double amount of EPA. Now I'm a little technical for you out there, but it has double EPA as DHA, but you see it hasn't really had any, let's say, it hasn't affected that we have both EPA and DHA going down. So even though that we have much more EPA in the body, we actually put down both of them. So it's not always important if you supplement only with DHA or only EPA. The product balance oil will take both of them down, will actually give you enough to reduce, to have enough of those two in your body. One thing I want to point out here, if you can find the fourth from the bottom, omega-6 is called arachidonic acid, is the one that is important, that is always above 0 on the deviation for athletes, because don't get it too low. If that goes too low, we might have an athlete that actually has issues creating inflammation, and actually that goes for everyone. That is a very, very, very important number as well. So not just raising the levels of omega-3, but also making sure that we are not going too low with arachidonic acid is important here. And you see, was so happy. She's thriving on this product, and she's so happy. And she felt, of course, some of the things that we have been talking about. Robert, are you there?
Maybe I am certainly here, my dear. Absolutely, 100%.
No, I was wondering, Robert, where did you, just a second. What were your levels?
I came in at 7.8 when I first got tested.
But you took another product, right?
Yes, correct. I've been taking high levels of nutrition for all of my life. And I'd had a heart condition from catching MERS or COVID-19 about 6 years ago. And whilst I was in South Korea doing some work, and I literally went from a very healthy person in 7 days to dead. And but when I first got tested on it, it's been amazing results, amazing. And I average about 2 to 1 now, 2.3 to 1 as a fluctuation over the year. Sometimes it goes above 3, but You know, it's the old story. Sometimes you don't take as much. Sometimes you take more. I just find, you know, again, I just have the normal measurement. You know, I have my 100 ml bottles on my desk, and I just take it 2 or 3 times a day, and that's it. You can normally feel that your body has just got enough in it, and you're feeling great, and alertness, obviously.
Totally. I was 19-1 my first test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I definitely felt something very, very fast, and now I'm down to 3-1. So I'm also very happy. But I see this so often. So thank you for sharing.
That's where you see, you know, like my cardiologist, exactly. I mean, his amazement of that he's been able to remove me from some of my drugs that he had me on, because my system's repaired itself, you know, all from, again, balanced oil, but he had the test-based nutrition. This is evidence-based, and that was the big thing, Anne, that he loved about it. As I was saying to him, he wasn't sort of giving me and saying, hey, you need to do this. I was educating him that why do I need to take these drugs? Because my body is performing very, very well. But absolutely, the medical field is blown away. And all of our wellness professionals, I know around the world, and particularly here in Asia Pacific, and I've never seen people so blown away with a device and then a product that follows up and does the job it's supposed to do, which you and I know in the wellness fraternity. You can't measure things, so you don't know if it's really working. And that's what they love about this particular product, that they can actually prove it works with their patients or their clients as they come into their practice.
Yeah, and you know what? I have no problems sharing or recommending, because I can actually tell people, I can show people that they need it. So it is something that is quite easy to talk about, because, as you said, proof defeats doubts. So yeah, let me just very quickly go back and share the last piece. So what we talk about here is, of course, our balance oil. And what is important here is, again, that we have this relationship of EPA and DHA 2-1, and we have tons of polyphenols from our olive oil in here. And it is a highly and easily recognizable to the body, and it's very highly absorbable. So this is why we can actually bring people in balance so fast, in less than half a year, very often in 4 months. So unbelievable. Very quickly, when I talk to athletes, I find that many of them have really, really high and big issues living and eating a healthy diet. And many of my athletes, many of my clients, travel a lot. Not so much right now, but it's hard when you travel. So what I do is that I love to talk to them about having a basic nutrition. And that is what we need. And also, you need to know that 70% of your immune system sits in your gut. And supplements and exercise actually can help you give a healthier microbiota in your gut. And that will have a huge impact on your overall performance, your energy, your metabolism, your inflammation, your mood, motivation, and fatigue. And who will not like to have that improved? So this product, the Synbiotic, is a product that gives you a lot of fibers to actually give you all this, what you need to have a healthy gut. Many people today do not eat enough fibers. You get them from the vegetables. You can also get it from cultured foods where you have microbiotas in, but it's hard. And especially if you eat a lot of sugar, you will not have enough of your good gut flora. So Synbiotic is something so simple, and I give it to all my athletes. I give it to all my clients, because it is something that improves your gut intestinal flora so fast. It is food for your happy microbes in the gut. And then we have Extend. And Extend is one of my favorites, especially after it has become all natural. It is really, really hard as an athlete to have enough of everything every day. It is really hard for normal people, for just everyday life, but as an athlete, where you have a huge expenditure in calories, in sweating, in just stress, trust me, it is not easy to get your vitamins and minerals and all the rest that you need every day. So look at how much you actually need to eat to get the same amount of vitamins and minerals as a daily dose, which are 4 capsules. I bet that most people are not able to get this much, eating this much a day. So this is something I really, really recommend highly. This we call the Encino Health Protocol. When I work with people, this is what I love to put them on because it improves their overall health so fast. It improves in a simple way. It's only 3 products. It's not something I'm asking people to take 14 products. 3 products a day. You can travel with this, and it is so easy. This is how I help my people to get into better health and to have just a basic level of nutrition in order so that you know that you are healthy. So that was about it. Are you back?
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, I love the health protocol, guys. I'm going to wrap up. We've got about 3 minutes to go. And as we go back to this little baby here, coupled with this little baby here, you put these 2 together. You do the 120-day test before and after. You then add that in with the Extend and the Viva. That's the health protocol, guys. When you get those 4, and I know they're not available in all countries and all that type of stuff, but become creative, guys. Become creative. You buy things on the World Wide Web, okay, on the web platform everywhere. You can buy these products in the US. You can buy these products around the world and ship them to your own country. Guys, get creative and get on the health protocol. If you happen to be in Hong Kong where they have the health protocol, Hong Kong, China, they have access to this. And I'm telling you guys, in Hong Kong, China, these 2 products are going absolutely crazy. The biggest problem the Chinese have got, gut health. As you just said, Anne, it's a major problem, not only in China, but globally. And as we say, guys, it's all about the immune system. It's getting you guys, getting your immune system. And what does this beautiful test do? It shows you you're either 0% or about 20% is the norm, isn't it, that most people see? And guess what? When you get yourself after 120 days up to 80, 90, 100% of immune protection, you know then the chances of getting a cold, a sniffle, a bit of a flu is pretty minute. Or if you do get it, your cellular structure goes to work immediately and performs the way it's supposed to perform in repairing its cellular structure. That's what we do, guys. And talk to me quickly just about morning and night dosages, okay? A lot of people say, well, why do I have to take a morning and night? Can you give me your quick 30-second preview on why morning and night?
Yeah, so as an athlete, I would not take the balance oil in the morning because sometimes you actually will use it for energy. So I will take the balance oil at night, which is important here. So you have it during the night. But I take Synbiotic every morning before breakfast, together with a little bit of lukewarm water and some lemon. And then I take it also before I go to sleep. I sleep so well on Synbiotic. I take 2 Extend in the morning and 2 Extend in the evening because then I divide all the good nutrients out during the day, and especially the beta glucans that are so good for innate immune system that we have in there is important that you divide it. Of course, if you don't have the time, if you forget or whatever, it's better to take it one time than none. So that's how I do. I take morning and evening, and then I feel really energized, and I have, I'm just happy. And Viva, I take Viva to sleep.
Yeah, look, and so many times we forget about this little hidden secret. This little baby is just the most powerful device, product that we've got as well. That's, complements the range, but it's an incredible product. And guys, it's a patented formulation that we own here at Zenzino. And remember, we're all natural products. Most of our products are vegan friendly. Okay, so, again, for those vegan lovers out there, guys, and halal certified, you got to understand we go to the nth degree to make sure these products are the best in the world. And in fact, next week, and we've got Ida Marie coming on board to talk to us, okay, which is our product development manager from Zenzino in headquarters in Sweden. Anyway, in wrap up, give me a quick 30-second closeout, and what you would say to these guys in 30 seconds on why they need to be doing this in 30 seconds.
So first of all, take the test. Make sure that you know that whatever you are taking is worth the money. And then if not, get on this, get at least on the balance oil, but I would totally tell you to get on the health protocol kit, and you will see most likely amazing results in a very, very short amount of time. I have seen all over the world how these products can help people get their health back, have energy, and feel good again. I mean, that's what we're all here for. So please just get the test and get on these products.
Fantastic, Anne. And again, thank you so much for your wealth of information. It's just great to have a wellness professional that comes on and talks to us at your level, where you give us the information in bite-sized bits and they can take it away. And guys, if you want to watch the replay, jump up to my Facebook. The link's going to be there for you to watch the replay on this, and you can share it if you want to. This is information to get people better, to get lives feeling better about themselves. So guys, take care, and thank you so much again. We look forward to talking to you again in the next 6 months or so, okay? And, just sharing your latest information that you got. And thank you so much for coming on board and having a quick chat to us. Thanks, guys. Take care. See you next week. Bye, guys.